Welcome, everybody. It's Education Saturday. It's Education Saturday. Okay. I see you.
They don't even know. Bernice. They don't even know. They have no idea.
Yo, they don't even know. Is the originator.
They don't even know.
Okay. Of the Harlem two-step. Harlem world, baby. Hey, y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Bernice. We are back for our Education Saturdays. Y'all know here in our Bible Act for Life group, we go live every Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And child, you just never know what you're going to get. And so, how you doing today? Is you all right?
I'm feeling blessed. God is good. He's shining. The sun is out, even though we got a bunch of snow. The sun is out. God is
y'all
good.
got snow?
Don't act brand new. Like, this is your first winter out. Don't act brand new. Like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna let
they got snow up north. That means folks were shoveling and things. And I'll just have yesterday it was 60 degrees here.
I'm
sunshiny.
Whatever, man. I'm so mad at you right now. It's not even funny.
I love you, though, Unc. I love
you. We might get 30 degrees today.
My condolences to you. Let's stop playing. All right. So we have two amazing business owners here with us today. And we're introducing them to our Bible Act for Life family. So family, please welcome Bernice Wooden. Hey, Bernice. How you doing, girl?
Hey, sis. I'm good. How are you? Hi, Mr. Hunt. I always feel like I gotta say Mr. Hunt.
No.
Why am I saying Hunt?
It's Hurt.
Why am I saying that though, Hunt? Like I was thinking about tomato sauce because all of the red. You know what? Mr. Hurt.
It's really clear Hurt and Mr. is my father. So
okay.
And I live by that Hurt name, like for real.
Got it.
In love.
Yeah.
Got it. Fair game.
That's Jerome.
Jerome in the house.
I said Jerome in the house.
My sister sent me a picture of her shirt that has Jerome in the house. She's like, "This is your Christmas present." I ain't wearing that.
Hilarious. Oh my goodness. So we have Bernice here with us today, and we also have Dana Johnson. Hey, Dana.
Hey,
how are you today?
I'm great. I'm gonna call you Uncle.
Bernice. Dana, we're not doing this today. First of all, all right, you don't have to tell all the people your age, but let me tell you something, okay? You have been bamboozled and swindled with a muck, okay? Already by Dana, and you don't even know it, okay? Dana out here fooling people. Okay? I felt so when I found out how old Dana is, I was like,
word. Black don't crack.
My spirit was vexed, child. I said, I couldn't get it together.
Y'all know we age well.
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack.
So welcome, ladies. Welcome to Buy Black for Life. I'm gonna turn it over to Unc. Let's get into this conversation.
Well, I want to read the bios. I'll read Dana's first, and Bernice, you can read Bernice's. But Dana Johnson is a business leader with more than 20 years of communications, operations, and strategy experience. She is passionate about supporting entrepreneurs in using operations planning to get clear about all aspects of their business and to make money. Money, baby. Dana has served in leadership positions with Beeman Incorporated, YMCA of Metropolitan Chicago, YMCA of Metropolitan Washington, and We Act for Environmental Justice. Currently, she is the host of the Dana What Happened Was podcast. I love that, which is a place where new leaders and business novices can get quick tips, learn best practices, and receive peer-to-peer coaching that can lead to financial success. By Black for Life, Dana Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you. I sound impressive. Look at me.
Yes, as you are and as you should. Okay.
Yes.
That's why we got a call later, right, Dana?
We do.
And I'll introduce Bernice. Bernice Wooden as an award-winning director and producer. Bernice Wooden creates love and joy through innovative forms of entertainment. Bernice is the owner of Be Nice Productions, which is a multimedia company that leads workshops in self-publishing, master networking, and video editing. On December 14th, 2020, child, that was just the other day. Hold you know what happened the other day. She was awarded a grant from Facebook, okay, for Black-owned small businesses under the Be Nice Productions brand. She is also a filmmaker and photographer. She self-published her first book, How to Get a Degree in Celibacy. 10 steps to
Did you see Unc's face?
10 steps to keeping your lips closed. All right. And she hosts an IG live series called No Hump Wednesdays, where she interviews guests about self-love, self-pleasure, and more. Her recent venture includes starting an e-commerce store called Layla's Lounge that showcases her latest inspirational and fun designs on home items and apparel. Child, I see we ain't gonna have no kind of act right.
Can you see the faces?
We left our act right in the bed. We got up, but our act right standing there.
I love to hear and see men's expressions when they hear the title.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. He was like, self what?
welcome, ladies. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna start with Dana. Like, tell us your inspiration behind all that you do in because it's not only business but also community. So share what it is that inspires you to move our people with what you do.
Yeah. So I think naturally my gifting is in, administrative things, so strategy things. And I have always worked with organizations. Like, for some reason, I end up being like the first employee in something. And I always thought about it from the perspective of how do I create structure and systems and processes so that the people who come behind me have a really awesome experience. And so I started my career in communication. So I worked at like global communications firms like Golan Harris. Then I went to a mid-sized company, and then I went to Beeman Incorporated, which is it's a boutique firm, and that's the place where I was the first employee. And I loved the woman that I worked for. She had actually worked for BET. It was the first comms person there. She worked for Oprah, and then she started her own firm. And she would always talk about wanting to be like this $10 million business. And so she had this great vision for her company externally, but inside of it, we weren't really set up to do that. And so I was able to take the things that I learned at those large global white organizations and bring them to Beeman Incorporated. And so the first thing was like around, setting up our financial processes. So, what should our billable rates be for our projects, for our employees? And, how much does it cost us for rent? How much does it cost to keep the lights on? What are some of those basic operations costs that we have? And then like, what do we want to see happen from a profit perspective? So, like, I want to get paid. I want to get a bonus at the end of the year. How do we structure our projects so that like somebody doesn't come along and say, I got $1,500 or $3,000, but I want a $50,000 communications program. We already know, like, for what you want, this is what it's gonna cost. And we really moved from like being in the hole in doing our work to having like 25% profit margins in the things that we do. Wow. And so I think I carried that with me. And I just have this heart for Black women, specifically entrepreneurs, and being sure that we get set up for success, right? And so I think that there are a myriad of programs out there that can talk to you about, this is how you create your strategic plan. And, they give you a lot of training in things, but they don't give you the next step, and that's the support in implementing it. And so that's what I'm about. I'm about how do you take your strategic plan? Because 90% of organizations, 100% develop them, but only 10% of organizations actually implement a strategic plan. And so you spend all this time thinking about what you want to do with your business, but if you never take that and turn it into an everyday action plan that you can use, you're all over the place. You are all over the place in what you do. And anybody can come along and tell you something is a good idea and you're doing it. And sometimes that can take you off of what your initial intent was. And so I'm about how do I help people take their vision, take their strategy, and turn it into an everyday action plan in their business that gives them focus, that helps them set their people up, right? Because even with strategic plans, only 14% of people who work with you or for you actually know what you're about, like what we're about in a year. And so, how do we get everybody on the same page so we can make this money? So my work is around focus. And I think with focus comes success. And
but I'm hearing clearly strategy and organization, because that, I think, to any business and any business plan is extremely vital.
Right, exactly. It's extremely vital. It's your roadmap, right? And it's like I said, it supports you in being successful internally, so that if you say you want to be a $10 billion business, for example, when you're going out and looking for projects or looking for clients, you will go out and look for people who are aligned with that.
Awesome. So, Thank you for that. Bernice, I mean, I'm ears wide open to hear about your, first of all, award-winning, God bless, that's amazing. Anything award-winning, anybody doing what it is that we out here are doing is, you got love from me. Tell us about what it is that got you started and where you are at this particular point.
Sure. So I graduated with a communications degree as well. And I'm from New York City, born and raised in Brooklyn. What up, BK? And you already know.
Hey,
come on now.
I mean, Harlem is all right or whatever.
And so once I graduated from school, I was looking for jobs at like MTV, BET. I thought I had some experience. I did the internship thing. I interned at MTV, interned at Def Jam, and I thought I'll be able to get a job. And I wasn't necessarily able to find a job at a major corporation, but I was able to find a job with a small Black-owned production company in Harlem. And that was a job that I got right out of graduation. So I was pretty blessed. And I've spent time the first year doing red carpet events, learning how to do video production, editing, hosting, and met a lot of amazing people along the way. But as you know, in the entertainment industry, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So after my year time at the company, because they were running out of funds, they could no longer afford me. And not saying they paid me a lot of money, there was enough money to sustain me to pay rent. I had to figure out what else I needed to do. So a friend of mine, one of my best friends, he said, "Hey, Bernice, why don't you get into marketing? You're really good with people. Why don't you try this program out?" And I started my marketing career. But what I do is I'm like the brand ambassador of a company, right? And you've seen these people travel around the country. So I promoted businesses like Visa, Panasonic, and, I'll be on tour. I actually represented Ben & Jerry's at one time, everybody's favorite ice cream company. And I did a lot of fun work like that because I'm super personable and I'm an introvert. But then I got to a point where, okay, I have this degree, and what am I going to do with this degree that I got? Because even my mom, she's old school. She's asking me, girl, you got that degree. What you going to do? And so I was like, you know what? Let me go back to school. So I went back to school and went to Brooklyn College for a master's in television production. And I said, okay, now that I graduated with this degree, what can I do next? And within 2 years span, I started Be Nice Productions. So that started in 2015. And since then, I've been able to do different productions around the country. I've been hired to go to South Africa to support a not-for-profit organization. I've been able to go to Hawaii with a small group of women to do videography and edit some content for their website. So I've been exploring what it is that I love to do, which in all is teach. Funny enough, I did all of this, but I love to teach people. So workshops are really in my heart. And with that experience, I was like, well, I'm still doing those things, but workshops is really where it's at because I would love for people to learn. So we'll talk about what's coming up for me next. But as far as what I love to do now and how I love to support people, it really is entertainment and bringing the joy, because especially with everything that has been going on this year, we know we need joy. So, that's what my focus has been on for sure.
I'm going to expand on something you just said. What does that joy look like in what it is that you're doing?
Oh my gosh, that joy is seeing people grow, because even when it comes to talking on my IG live series, No Hump Wednesdays, I think people,
we're going to get into that.
We are, but even people having the type of experience to utilize what they think they know and then have an open mind to learn more. So that brings me joy. Like, just have an open mind to just learn more. And then you can share that information with other people so they can have a different aspect about what it is that you're trying to teach or learn.
Got you. Dana, what are you currently working on right now? And we are intentional in talking about this because when you look at our group, right? So many people, because of COVID, have made the decision to become entrepreneurs. So what is it specifically that you have going on? What have you had to change pre-COVID? Now we're in COVID with what you do also.
Right. So if I think about it in terms of like what I want to bring to people, I was really leveraging a podcast. So the Dana What Happened Was podcast was the place where I wanted to bring together entrepreneurs in sort of a peer-to-peer coaching way. So I would tell stories of operations challenges that entrepreneurs might have and use that as a method of providing like quick tips and coaching to other people. And what I have found now is that people are asking me, I have this business or I have this nonprofit, like someone in our leadership LT 187 group, and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. Where do they go next? So I've been spending a lot of time talking with people about what is the vision for what you do, what you have, and what is one priority in that business that you want to set, and then how do we align everything that you do with it. For example, I worked with a small cycle studio, a boutique cycle studio here in the DMV. And the owner had 3 locations. It's a small boutique cycle studio. So the most bikes she would have in there would be 18 bikes. Well, in this environment where you got to be 6 feet apart, you aren't exercising indoors. We spent a little bit of time talking about, what she could do differently in her business. And it wasn't solely my idea. She brought brilliance to it. But one of the things that we talked about initially was how could she take what she did in person into a digital and virtual world. Yeah. And she started out by doing it on Facebook. And she came up with the brilliant idea in our conversations of renting out the bikes that she had to people. So, you could rent a bike from her for $40 a week. You could go on Facebook and take your class, and then, helping her figure out, how do you share information about that? How do you promote it? So a lot of what I'm doing now is coaching around, how do you figure out what you can do in this new world? And so even when I think about reimagining the podcast that I had, it was kind of going back to the basics, right? So if I'm telling you, you need to figure out how to turn your strategic plan into an operations plan, and how do you operationalize in that in the business? That's a bunch of jargon and language. So now I'm really focused on building the content around, how do you actually do that? Like, what are the step-by-step methods that you do? Right. So, like little 15-minute segments that, people can sit with their piece of paper and sketch it out and figure it out. And then we can go into the stories of people who have had a challenge in their business and how they might bring that to life. But yeah, it's really sort of, setting a framework, giving people something to work with, so that it moves from being abstract to something really tangible.
Awesome. And my Black for Life family, that's at Dana What Happened Was.
Yes.
Please look for her. And I think in this community that we have, that it's vital information.
Yes.
Listen, I don't care if you get it from 100 sources. You may get little nuggets from each one that you could put together, but we have to be intentional about, our resources and using those resources, and not being afraid of spending money in order to grow our business. It's so vitally important. So thank you for that. Bernice, let's get into your podcast. And you mentioned you love seeing the expression of
I do. So it's actually I host it live on Instagram, and it's each and every Wednesday. However, I did take a break. I'm coming back in January.
We'll be looking for you.
Yes, the first season is available at the Instagram page is A Degree in Celibacy. I made that page different from Be Nice Productions because it's all under the same umbrella. But I wanted that like a separate page. So with that though, that's something that idea came upon my brain like in 2018. And I was doing that on Facebook first. So if you go to my Degree in Celibacy page on Facebook, you'll see that I did older interviews with, it was mainly me talking about my book and my experience. And then I started bringing people in. But then this go around with everything that's been happening this year, I was like, I should bring it back to people engaged. And I feel like a lot of people, may have not chosen it intentionally house. So I was like, let me support some people if they are on the journey now, choosing to be on a journey, give them some information that can support them. So I have 10 episodes, 10 different people. I have a few therapists. I have sex therapists on there. Like it's a really good conversation that I had with some amazing people, a life coach. And it's not about the conversations that we have isn't based on fear. It really is about how can you fall in love with yourself and know that this is what you want in your next relationship and the things that you need in order to be prosperous. Because a lot of people do fear celibacy, but it's not exactly what you may think it is. And I definitely have fun with the conversation. So it's never boring. At all. It's never boring.
I'm one of these people that subscribe to the fact that when you are in a relationship, if there is a level of celibacy, that actually takes away some of the things that you need to really be focused on in that relationship. And because I do believe that sex, intimacy, whichever word we want to use, it some of the time does cloud some things that we don't really need to be paying attention to. But because, well, sex is good, so I could put up with that. But what if the sex is not there? Can you really put up with that? So, as much as my face said what it said, I and that's only because listen. But I definitely get it. It's something that if I'm talking to a young person, I will say that to that young person that, you know, you need to step back from doing that, because then you get to see the entire picture of who this person is. Also, like you said, of yourself. There's a big self-discovery there as well.
For sure, for sure. And I do have to give a big shout out to my mom, because she taught me about sex at a very early age. So I was never one of those teenagers that felt like, oh, I have to go experiment and try these different things. And no judgment for people that have done that. Right. But what I'm saying is, because we had an open communication and relationship, I didn't have to like want to do those things. And so even when I lost my virginity, it was at an age, I think it was still pretty average. It was 18 in comparison to a lot of my friends who were like 14 and 15. But at least with that, I was, it was a boyfriend. I was with my boyfriend for 3 years, you know, so we were, you know, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for it, but again, I feel like it was at a point in time where I was like, okay, I'm 18 years old, let me try it. And then we wound up being together for 3 years. So again, I have to give some gratitude to my mom for educating me. Right. And that's one thing that I feel like parents, I'm also grateful for a friend who actually let her daughter read my book at 12 years old. And, you know, really realize like, okay, you have all these resources to learn what sex is about, but here's another resource, and this is another avenue you can do or take, and before you decide to go to the next step. So
I think it was at age 5 my mother talked about it with me.
Yep. I was 5.
And I don't know everyone's age, but my mother pointed out the encyclopedia that she wanted me to look at. That was number one. But also my mother worked for Planned Parenthood. So what she saw in young people getting pregnant at a young age, she was like, I need to inform you at a very young age of what this is. So she was intentional about that. So when it was my time, there were no secrets. I had known it all. So I thank you for that. That's powerful. Dana, let's talk about, because the one thing that it seems to thread the two of you is media as well, right?
Yeah.
I feel, especially in this world that we are in now, that Black media is important. That we depend upon media outlets that don't speak to our stories, because there is Black excellence in our community that doesn't get shared. What do you feel about being in media and being a Black woman?
Yeah, so I can speak to it from the perspective of, you know, like an account management perspective. Right. So buying media for clients and engaging in media campaigns for clients. And I would say it's a challenge. One, because those outlets don't get the same amount of investment in monies. And so, you know, the ability for them to be able to scale, to have the staff to be able to tell stories fully and wholly is non-existent. And so you do see these shrinking of these outlets. So the number of outlets that are available to tell our stories. And then you do see it's difficult to be able to get them to tell stories holistically because of bandwidth issues.
Right.
So I do think it's a concern, but then I think the flip side of that, the positive side of that is, you know, social media has created this world in which the barriers have come down, right? So anybody with a good computer, some Wi-Fi, and a camera can get out there and tell excellent stories as well. And it's exactly what you and Jamise are doing. You know, you created a platform to tell our stories. And so I think we look at that in a different way. But also because, I don't know, the businesswoman in me comes out, like you have such a valuable product. So, you know, even for you, how do you, monetize this in a way so that you are matching the quality of the content, the investment of your time and your talent that you put into it with, making sure you get the coin attached. I don't know how else to say it, but get the coin.
I guess we gotta have a meeting, huh, Jamise?
I was getting ready to go into the group chat as we speak. No, I'm serious. I just pulled up my WhatsApp as we are live.
Yeah,
we need a meeting. Amen. Okay. In the meeting room immediately.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Bernice, what about you? Being in media, a woman, Black woman, and navigating that space. And I need to be clear also. I agree that the social media is an important and powerful tool, good and bad. Hopefully more good than bad. So your feelings about mainstream media and women first and foremost. And women of color being in mainstream media.
Yeah, well, I'm so proud of us because we can take a little mustard seed and build it up to be a mansion in the sky.
Come on now. Come on now.
So I know every woman that I've run into, and Black women, Black men who are creating spaces for not only healing in whatever aspect it is. Like I am in so many different like IG live and like series that I'm supporting so many different people because there's so many different powerful conversations that's happening at the same time that we didn't necessarily have opportunities to do before social media. So for me, it has been more a blessing than not. Because I choose what I choose to see, right? Like I choose the content I want to see. I choose the content I want to produce. I was even at a point where I wanted to focus, when I first started, I was like, oh, I'm going to shoot music videos. And then I got to a point where, okay, I can do music videos, but I have to like the music and I have to like the song. I'm not just going to do it for the money. Right. So I think we've even gotten to a point where, okay, I'm not lowering my standards just to get money in the bank account based on what is needed at that time, but really being in tune with what you want to represent yourself as. Like we have role models now, like Ava DuVernay, who's like, okay, I'm only going to produce this type of content.
She's
if there's not support in my community, then I'm not rocking with it. And so I am blessed to see women like her who are showing us different ways that we can actually manage who we are, who we choose to be, and create content that we want to see if we don't already see it.
Right.
So that's what I've been connected to. So when I started, for me, No Hump Wednesdays, it wasn't anything that I've seen before. I don't know anybody else who's talking about celibacy on a playing field and the level that I am. So I was like, well, how can I make this? How can I create a safe space for people to talk about it? And it's not just celibacy, it's abstinence too, whatever you want to call it. Right. And we have a good time having those conversations. And listen, this is how you do it. If you don't see the content, you have to make it yourself. Even if it's this little old school camera with a little lamp light, listen, if you start there, and then you start getting into grants on Facebook, thanks. And then you can buy the things you need to buy so you can grow.
Right.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
If I could add a little bit to that, to wanting to see yourself. So I think when we look at mainstream media, to go back to the question that you initially asked us, is as a group, marketers, people who are spending money on sponsorship and advertising feel like they can get us. I can get you in the mainstream media. Like, as African Americans, as Black people, you consume the regular stuff, the main stuff. And so I don't have to, be intentional about investing in outlets that focus solely on Black people. And I think that like the blessings of this moment, which kind of started with George Floyd, sort of reigniting this focus on, the Black community and, how we are treated in this world. It is a moment of reckoning, right? It's a moment of being able to hold people accountable to invest in us specifically. And I'll say that like one of the clients I had was Nielsen. It's the Nielsen company now, but it was called Nielsen Media Research. And, one of the campaigns that we created for them was called like You Matter. And it really was around getting communities of color, so Black, African Americans, Latinx, Asian communities, to see that like you matter and how much power you have. And so when we start, waving our hands and making our requests, people pay attention to that. That's how we get the target in our community. That's how, we can say like, I consume Bernice's content, and I think that you need to support it. That's where I'm putting my focus and my energy, and you need to do that as well. So I think there certainly is a space for us to be like, I'm going to focus just on my people and do what I'm going to do. But there's also a space for us to say to people like, you need to invest in the people who look like me and who are bringing responsible, reflective content for me. And so, with Nielsen, we tried to get people to participate in like the surveys, because that's what people look at the data, which goes back to the census. So that's why it was important for us to have people participate in the census, because we wanted to make sure that, percentage of population, whatever people were doing, it aligned with percentage of population. And so, like it's a relationship between all of it. Yeah. And I feel like that's what's important for me to get people to see, like relationships matter. There is a connection. Let's follow the line. So,
and you talk about the census, and us as co-founders, we actually did a video about the census in this group.
Right.
Because I don't think our people are really informed on how important being a part of that census really is. And one of the things, and Bernice, you said this, and Dana, I'll let you go. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be still.
You said this about with what the content you created. You created something that you knew was different from what else is out there. Mm-hmm. One of the things I've been intentional about, and we have been as a group, is there are other BIBLACK groups out there. We are going to be different than any other BIBLACK group, because we just don't want people here for their business, but we care about them when we do Wellness Wednesdays. Right. We care about them by bringing content like the two of you with us today. Mm-hmm. So we care about them in talking about getting out to vote, not who to vote for, but getting out to vote. Yes. We care about them in informing them how the census impacted us, and how, because there was a shortfall 10 years ago, we were still feeling it. So Dana, I'm gonna let you, I see you over there doing you.
I cannot help myself. Like people, like that census is so important. And that's why the fight to make sure that people were counted was so critical. Because right now, like if we look at the national election and this new administration coming in, we're talking about transitioning to like a clean energy economy, right? And they are, elect Biden and Kamala Harris are, have a plan that like 40% of monies that get saved from us investing in cleaner energy economies will go back into communities. So there is opportunity for Black entrepreneurs in that space. Like if you want to start a workforce development program around installing solar panels, if you want to, start a business that's focused on, retrofitting and upgrading old buildings, Like that's coin. If you want to start a black bank, a green bank in your community, like you need to be paying attention to that. But you know how they're going to appropriate that money? Based on the census.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking at, how do we describe overburdened communities? How do we describe under-resourced communities?
Yeah.
And that will determine like who gets the coin. We want to make sure that like they put parameters in place that somebody outside of the community can't pop up in Harlem. They can't pop up in, like Hyde Park from Chicago where I live and say like, oh, it's, this is an opportunity zone. I'm going to access this coin. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that, we are setting parameters to ensure that our businesses, our nonprofits, our institutions are getting the money. That census is critical, and that's why it was intentional to ensure that not everyone was represented in it.
That's my so speech. Good. I just want to jump in real quick. That was child, hold your mule, okay? Hold
I held it. I got to drink some water. I done made myself first.
That was so good, right? Because we look at what occurs in our communities, right? We look at other races and ethnicities being able to come into our communities, have businesses, make their money. Child, they out here making six figures, if not millions, right? Mm-hmm. We look at the gentrification of our neighborhoods, right? And not understanding the connection that our census, right? And being civically aware and involved, knowing what's going on, how that affects our communities and the future of our communities. So I'm so happy that we touched on this because it's for us in the U.S. with the child. Sometimes we forget about the 99 other countries that's here. So we talking about the U.S. right now.
U.S.
We have a census this year, and how that impacts our communities. And the census is every 10 years. So you're going to use this information that they receive to inform funding for our communities for the next 10 years. So child, when the next one come around, when the next one come around, y'all make sure that y'all do the census, right? Because it affects everything that we're talking. We're talking also about the opportunities, right? That don't come to our communities. Why? Because they don't know we there, and we don't hold folks accountable. That is something that we really gotta get on. Like our elected officials. Child, y'all see how we going after Biden and Kamala? Cool, it's cute. We got y'all in now.
Yep.
And your representatives, right? And the people in Congress,
Congress, Senate, council people, depending on where you live, it's called different things. Aldermen, hold them folks accountable. They got grants too.
School boards, it needs to start from the very ground level, and we have access to these people. I could say my representative is AOC.
They be mad at her.
I've been to her office, right? She's on Junction Boulevard. If you live in Queens, you know what Junction Boulevard is. She has an office on Junction Boulevard. When I had COVID, she was in this community giving out groceries to people who could not afford it, right? We have to, yes, we vote, but that is not the end of our responsibility. It goes further with ensuring that those people, we hold them accountable. We got you in there. You work for us. Now, this is what we want to hold you accountable for. And Bernice, I know you've been holding some stuff in, so please.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about? It was this woman. So I was born and raised in Red Hook houses in Brooklyn, South Brooklyn. And there was this one woman, every time the census came, it was twice for me because I moved out at 21. But I remember her at 10 and 20. I promise you I do, or around those ages, whatever ages they were. And she was so committed to having everyone counted in the census. And to be quite honest, I think my mom was a little bit naive at how important it was, even though we did it when she knocked on the door, we did it, but I didn't learn that education. So I had to, when I became an adult, there's a lot of things that I had to learn myself, coming from a community that we just didn't know a lot, that I had to relearn. And so we really have to get to a point where when it comes to education and like teaching our kids the things that they need to know, we need to teach them this early, how important it is to do the census in like high school, junior high school, and that when you become that age that you are about to take a census, like, listen, you have to do it. So I think for me, I'm not trying to make excuses for impoverished neighborhoods, but we really need those support, community organizers who's really out there, who's hitting the pavement. Like, listen, guys, like, I know you didn't learn this in school, but this is the real deal. This is what you really need to know. And I'm grateful that I got to a place where even though there's things that I learned that I had to unlearn because it wasn't actually supporting me as an adult, because of past experiences, old school people had, a lot of their stuff is not our stuff now. So we get a chance to create the life that we want, and also like take responsibility for the things that we didn't learn back in the day.
So good. And child, I ain't know you grew up in Red Hook. My mama grew up in Red Hook, child, 35 Dwight Street, apartment 5A. None of our family live there anymore. I don't know who lived there, but child, don't go knocking on the people's door. But I'm just
we gotta talk, sis. Like, your whole family.
I love it. Listen, this is how we supposed to do it, right? 6 degrees of separation. I speak to that all the time. Bernice, I want to ask you how, with what it is that you do, and again, award-winning, how is it that you support other entrepreneurs, business owners, wannabe business owners in what it is you do?
Yes. So what has supported me now, I got to give a big shout out to my tribe, because I think who I've attracted over the years has been other entrepreneurs, because I've been doing this for 12 years as an entrepreneur. I have not had a full-time job. Lord knows that I'm ready, though. I ain't gonna front. Girl is ready. I can do both. I'm a win-win type of girl, right? I can have both things. But the community that I've been able to build over the years, they poured into me and I pour into them. So for instance, in regards to the Facebook grant that I won, someone sent me the information, and I filled it out. It was through Submittable. That word always gets me sometimes. Submittable.com, and you can fill out, like, it's a resource where there's different grants available where you can complete. And a friend of mine who's also a fellow entrepreneur sent it to me, and I filled it out, and within 2 weeks I got word that I got it. And it's actually 4 people that I know who got this grant. Awesome. And it was specifically for small Black-owned businesses because of everything that's going on. Somebody put the thumb on Facebook, just like Dana said, you got to put the thumb on these people, like, hey, okay, we support you, we here. I need you to invest in us as well. So I've been able to be a part of that. But as far as how I specifically support entrepreneurs too, I started a self-publishing workshop through COVID. Before, like I said, I've done a few workshop series, but this one is a new highlight for me. This will be my 4th time doing it. And I want to focus on people who are ready to get their book out. I have my first book and it was very successful. I did the research. I was trying to figure out what my niche is. How can I be different? Right. And not only is it available on Amazon or Audible, and I want to teach people how to do it. So specifically, I teach people how to not only create a book, but it also is like, hey, you have a website, you need photography, I got you. Let me do some headshots for you. If you want to work on some product placement videos for your brand, I got you. Let's talk about that. So it's different elements. Like I said, I'm more on the entertainment aspect. I'm calling Zana for all the paperwork and the coins. I work on entertainment. So, but that's why you have to collaborate. You can't do this work by yourself. Right. It is impossible to do this by yourself. So if you have a community of people where you can figure out each other's strengths and share those things together and not withhold. That's one thing that has not supported me at all. When it comes to abundance, I have to share everything that I know and that I learned. Because just like I got that information for that grant, I made sure I sent it to other people as well, because I can't. And like I said, it's 4 of us that got it. Right. So the money is there. We just have to stop living in fear that we won't get it. Right. It has to be like, let me do it. It took 30 minutes. And let me submit. And if you feel like your writing is not strong enough, then ask a friend, hey, can you submit this for me? I know you're stronger in writing. Or pay somebody on Fiverr.com. I use that resource sometimes. So I can, get the things that I need so I don't feel like I'm doing everything by myself.
Right.
Awesome. So what you're talking about is not just tribe, but also community, right?
Oh, yeah.
And most importantly about seeing the strengths in others is seeing your own weaknesses and knowing, I can't write, for example. Let me get somebody who could help me write. So that is, to me, that's so vital in surrounding people, being surrounded by people whose strengths help you. Because I have this saying, I'm no longer a product of my environment. My environment is a product of me.
Come on now.
I surround myself with people who are going to help uplift me, who are going to challenge me for better.
Yep.
So, yes, I grew up in the hood, and I have some hood in me when I need it, right?
Right.
However, I've sat in boardrooms before governors, before elected officials, because the company I was with, we were trying to get the RFP for their retirement. Therefore, I know how to button up, right? So I'm no longer a product of my environment. My environment is a product of me surrounding myself with positive people that are going to challenge me and also challenge me to pour back into other people. So thank you for that, Bernice. Dana, what is it that, and Dana, one other caveat I want to ask you is, because you talked about even with what we do, how does one balance serving the community and getting coin?
Powerful question, right? And I think it starts with you have to be sure that you are like taking care of yourself, so you're getting like your basic needs met, right? So if that's a really powerful question, and I'm trying to figure out how best to answer it. But I do think it starts with sort of making sure that you are taken care of first, and then, figuring out what percentage you can give to others in terms of like, whether it's financially from what you're doing or giving of your time. I think that, you have to figure out that mix, but that's kind of where it starts. Right. I don't know how great an answer that was, but
that's probably along what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it is, I talk about this in terms of like a business way. So being clear about your values, but also like in a personal way too. So, you and Jamise have your own personal values, and you can think about how those values show up in terms of like what you do, what you put out. And so if it is, you feel like you have a social responsibility to community, like this can be the way that you fulfill that. And I won't say that it won't feel like a burden, but you know that you are speaking out of your core, you're doing it out of your core. And so that's the way, that it feels good. And also that helps you to focus, right? Because people can come at you with a whole bunch of other, I think you should be doing this. And you're like, no, for me, my value is social responsibility. And the way that I'm exercising that today is I have my Buy Black for Life platform, and that's what I'm focused on. God bless you. You can invest in this if you want to, but this is where I am. So it's that kind of self and organizational clarity, if you will, that can help you.
Thank you. And to, the same question I asked Bernice, what is it that you're doing in order to help entrepreneurs in this time with whatever it is that you're giving to entrepreneurs and what it is your expertise is?
Yeah. So for me, I feel like the podcast, and it took me some time to really think about that and how I could use that as a tool for investment. So for me, the Dana What Happened Was podcast is my way of telling stories, my way of coaching and teaching and investing back in others. I also, through, as Jaymeese mentioned, we're all a part of this leadership process program. And I set aside 20 hours of my time that I was willing to invest in a business, to invest in a nonprofit. So whatever you want to do from a strategic planning perspective or operations perspective, ask me what you want for 20 hours. And so one of the projects that I have is to work with one of our leadership coaches, has a nonprofit and a for-profit. And I'm working with her to figure out how to structure that for the nonprofit in a way that she's not relying on her board to do the everyday things that she wants to do. So we're getting clear about the vision. We're getting clear about how to set up the operations. And so that's what I mean about focus. For her, it is, I want to let go of this. And so we're focused on how do we structure this in a way where she can hire a part-time executive director and have someone who works externally, and like they are focused on bringing money in to keep it sustainable. And then someone who can do the day-to-day administrative things. And so I'll be working with her and her board chair to figure that out. And hopefully we'll have a really awesome plan that'll set them up nicely. So for me, it's that.
I swear, Jamie, did you tell her about our meetings and conversations?
I didn't tell the people nothing. I'm over here. And that's one thing that I love about alignment, and that's been our word within the group for this year. Because even how this group came together is just like so. Like I haven't met Jerome in person.
Oh, wow.
I have not met Jerome.
I thought y'all were family.
No, child. That's my uncle. He became my uncle in June, child.
I thought you were a real uncle.
So I created the group, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm in Florida. My wife and I decided after we got over COVID, we were going to spend a month in Florida. Mm-hmm. I create the group while in Florida. And it's blowing up like I never saw happen. All of a sudden, in my DMs, this Jaymeese says, "This is what I do. If you need help, let me know."
Yeah.
Me, in my little bit of arrogance, I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
He did me dirty, y'all.
I thought I had it right. But she didn't know how gangster I was behind it. I was like, if I need you, if I need assistance, I'll be sure to let you know. Mm-hmm. God must have just been kicking me in my head because he said, I need you to go take a look at who this person knows. Mm-hmm. So we are all Momentum family.
Oh, wow.
All of us are Momentum family.
Hey.
So I looked and saw the common people she knew from Momentum and immediately hit her back.
Yep.
And said, bet.
Yeah.
I'm even joking. That's how it happened. And the rest of the group, I intentionally picked them, not even recognizing that my weaknesses some of their strengths. Mm-hmm. So when we came together and we talk about like being aligned, we would be in a chat and someone would say, I thought about, and everybody, me too. The alignment was so amazing that I knew just with who we have as a group, we'll be able to do anything that we want to. Mm-hmm. Anything. And even when we disagree, because we do disagree, right?
Right.
They put their foot in me, and I'm cool with it, right? Because I know, listen, in order for you to be able to operate, and I'm gonna say this to every business owner, you have to have a yes man and a no man.
That's so good.
You have to. You have to have somebody, and the no man is gonna check you. When they check you, if you don't trust them, you're not going to heed what it is they say. I trust, and I'm gonna say one other thing. I intentionally made sure I surrounded myself with Black women.
Smart man.
I'm gonna say that I was raised by a Black woman.
Yep.
I'm married to a Black woman. I have a Black woman who's a daughter. Why not? So that was extremely intentional. That's why I believe we are where we are. So that alignment, wow. That's why when you're saying what you're saying, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, did Jamie say something too? Like, it's amazing because these are the visions that we have for what it is we want to do. And let me just say this. We support everyone who comes through here. Like any of you, if you say, Jerome, I need to up my viewers to my podcast, got you.
So I'm putting it out there. I want interesting business stories. I want to interview entrepreneurs about how they are running their business. I'm putting it out there.
Preach.
All right. So y'all heard Dana put it out there. Now, scared money don't make no money, folks.
Come on.
True.
You letting y'all know how to get in contact with her. Go ahead, Bernice. I saw you getting ready to say something.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with Dana. Get it poppin', sis. I'm agreeing. Yeah.
168,000 strong for a reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're at 169, actually. 169,000 strong for a reason. And not only 169,000 strong, but engaged members.
Right.
So if you are in need of taking your business, even if you think your business is here and you're ready for the next level, tap into these resources we have before you right here and right now. They're giving you nuggets. They're giving it to you. And, you know, as we wind down, I'm going to ask each of you, and Bernice, you first, tell anybody if a business owner is sitting in front of you and saying, I'm scared, I want to, what piece of advice is it that you would give them in order to take their business, start their business, or take their business to the next level?
I would say believe in yourself, because fear is going to happen. You can't stop fear. I'm sorry. There's nothing that's going to ever stop fear in your life. So if you realize that it will never go anywhere, that you just have to do it. And guess what? If you fail, so what? Just do it again. Try it a different way. Maybe your tribe wasn't strong enough to support you in your gifts. Maybe you need to get the resources somewhere else. That's what I know for me. That's what I had to do. I started two things. I added the workshop series to Be Nice Productions. But when I started Leela's Lounge, I did 3 months of research starting in March. I was like, okay, well, how am I going to make more money? Right. So, all right, let me get into e-commerce. Those canvases behind me, I made myself. Those are available. Listen, and I'm all about positivity too, right? So flow, grow, heal. That's important because we need those safe spaces in our homes too. But you have to jump out and you have to do it, because, hey, if you don't do it, somebody else will. And guess what? Here's the thing about that. Somebody else is still going to do it, but it's enough people in the world for you to be successful and for them to be successful. So drop the fear in the moment, but again, it may not go anywhere, but there's different things that you can do to minimize that. And that's also just to do it. You just have to do it. Don't stop, get it.
I have this saying, on the other side of fear is freedom.
Yeah.
I live by that. Yes, the only thing I live in fear right now of is COVID. But other than that, on the other side of fear is freedom. So thank you for that. Yeah. Dana, same question. If you had somebody in front of you, business owner, entrepreneur, young person, it doesn't matter. What advice would you bestow upon them?
Yeah, so I think I agree with both you and Bernice. I have a friend named Bernice. Bernice, that fear will always be there. You know, I can be vulnerable here and say that I feel afraid, and you know that fear for me shows up as procrastination and perfectionism. But I think that get clear. And some of that starts with you internally. So get clear about what's important to you. Get clear about your values. Get clear about what you want to accomplish in your business. And also get clear to the point that you made, Jerome, about where your strengths and we start and end, and when it might be time to have someone else support you in getting clear. And that can be your tribe. It can be a new voice from somebody outside of you in a consultant or a class, but get clear. And once you are clear, it's like a SWAT. It's like, get out of my way so I can get to the coin. Clarity is your swatter.
Yes.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna say that somewhere.
That was good, Daisy.
That was real good.
I loved it. Listen, the twine that woes between us is momentum, each and every one of us. And you know, they've been a partner to us in amazing ways and blessing us, and we bless them back. And to know that we have two more amazing momentum graduates that come before and are giving nuggets, right? Black Back for Life, you'd have to normally pay for this, right? And you're getting it right here. So we're intentional about sharing this information. We also want you to use the information that we share. So that's what I implore on all of you, to please do that. Jamise, do we have any questions, any comments from people?
Child, no questions. The people are in the chat. They reiterating stuff. Okay, there's some quotes that that were created on today. Okay, on December 19th of 2020. Lots of quotables. We had some preach, Dana. Okay, the people was feeling the spirit. Okay. We had one user. I just want to highlight what she said. She said, "Oh yes, I need this info. I want to publish children's books that I've written, but I have no clue where to start now that I have written them." And so like the resources are here, sis. All right, child. You came here not knowing, not having the information. You have resources all around you, child. Inbox me. I will put you in connection with anybody that you need. And child, go follow them and slide in their DMs. But when you slide in their DMs, know that they're going to get their coin. Because Dana said,
keep it 100. That's right.
Dana had said, when she had part of what she had said was just the coin. All right. Bernice is working with Dana, and so Bernice is getting the coin. Right? I heard her say that she got that Facebook grant. Okay. That's coin.
And for the woman who left the comment about the self-publishing books, I'm actually doing a workshop January 7th, 2021. Is write that book 2021.eventbrite.com. So if you go there, I'm having a sale right now for tickets. It's only $44. And if y'all, my Momentum community know, I made it $44 for a reason. So $44 until Christmas Day, and then the price goes up. So $44 for you to join. It's a 2-hour intensive where I give you all the information that you need to get the book done. And then if you want one-on-one coaching, I support you with that as well.
And if you don't mind, because we desire to support, if you could send that information, we create an event in our calendar, and it'll provide our members with reminders about your event, so
great
that we can get people to know what it is, where it is, and what's happening. And man, however we could support, do know My Black for Life loves both of you, and if you need us, we got you. I know we gonna need both of y'all.
Oh, yeah, right?
I don't know about the celibacy part.
Yeah, I don't need that.
I'm just saying, you know, I promise you, you will not be bored, because here's what I'm
dialing in. Trust me.
I identify as sex positive, so I am sex positive, but just on a journey of self-love too. You know,
so help me, because and excuse my ignorance, I'm evolving with this. Okay. Tell me what sex positive means. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so it's just a basic way of saying that I love sex. You know, I enjoy it.
Praise God.
I'm pro sex. You know, so it's not that I'm saying don't do it. That's not what I'm saying through this whole celibacy journey. That's not what I'm saying through abstinence. What I'm saying is, when you choose to do it again, make sure you're doing it with the right person and you have the right intentions and you have goals. Because if you just doing it with everybody, because we all know about soul ties, don't let us get into that, because I know we winding down. But I know there's just a lot of stuff that can be brought into your space that you don't want when it comes to having those intimate relationships. So I do talk to people like, hey, you having it? Kudos to you. Tell me how it went down. Like, you know, so you know, it's still about positivity all in all.
And we need that, right? Because in this time, I think care for our bodies and that's a huge part of it, is so important. And so your conversation, as I started off with, I'm not against it. I think it's, in terms of in a relationship, it provides clarity. And it kind of clears away a whole lot of things so that we can have now a clear vision of who it is that's in front of us and who it is that we are. So I thank you for that. Jamie, anything? Oh, I want to say my last words. This will be our last Education Saturday for the year. So we're going to take the Christmas holiday and the New Year's. But if y'all loved us in 2020,
baby,
you see 2021. Yeah, listen, don't even play with it. Just come and have a party hat on and just let us do what we do, because that first one in 2021 is going to be fire. I already know. It's
I'll be there. I'll be watching.
Through. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna be talking about our vision for 2021 and what it is that we want to do to promote our people, promote our business, promote our communities, and how we can create Wakandas all throughout, not just this country, but throughout the world.
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
Yes.
Me, it's all yours, sis.
I know Dana is having a room on Club. Can we talk about Clubhouse real quick before we get off? Baby, can I tell you how Clubhouse has changed my life? I don't even know what to do with myself. Like, I just be, all right, I just feel so supported, and I'll be knowing what I'll be doing sometimes now that I got Clubhouse. So Clubhouse, in case you don't know, and this is not a sponsor, child, they ain't sponsor us in 2021. When we mention people, they gonna be sponsoring us. That's but right. It's still 2020, so all right, I'm gonna let them slide on this one. But Clubhouse is a fairly new social media app. It's an audio only social media app, so you don't see who's talking, you just see their profile picture, and it's conversations about all different kinds of topics. Child, when I tell you, the folks be on there just dropping gems and having a good time too. Child, there's Clubhouse After Dark as well. We ain't gonna talk about that, but Dana is having a room, so I want her to give that information because I know some folks need that. So Dana, please tell the folks what you're doing.
Yes, thank you. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, my buddy and I, Yay Nail, are hosting a room that we're calling Ask the Ops Chicks. So if you have an operations question, you can come into that room and ask us, and we will answer it. I'm more focused on vision and strategy into an operations plan. And her area is, how do you actually measure that, right? So if you want to have some key performance indicators or, project management tips, she got you. So come join us tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Child,
Yeah.
let me tell y'all, okay? As Uncle has already forestated, this is our last Education Saturday of this year. This is like
great.
I'm almost getting emotional because I remember when this was just an idea.
Just an idea.
We just had this idea that we would go live every Saturday, and we've been live pretty much every Saturday since June 2020. Offering a platform, first of all, right, for folks to get their businesses out there and share what it is that they're doing, and also in turn helping our business owners that are within the group, or even folks who are like, well, maybe I should start a business, and even being able to use the tools just in our everyday life. So this is, I'm a little emotional. I wasn't expecting to have a moment though, child. I'm having a moment over here. But child, we're taking a break. And as Unc has already said, child, we are gearing up for 2021. 2020 was very organic for us, right? Things just kind of came together and aligned, and now we get to take what was created in that organic time and child take it to the next level. I'm telling y'all not ready for us in 2021, but I'm saying y'all, I need y'all to get ready, okay? Because we want y'all with us, all right? We want with us as we continue to grow and as we get to offer more and more to our BIPOC business owners and clients and customers. We're gonna be meeting with Bernice and Dana. I don't know. Y'all can hire them too. All I'm saying is y'all can have our spots. Y'all can't have our slots. So don't be trying to steal our slots. All right. Yeah. I'm letting y'all know now. Okay.
If I could just say something real quick also. On next Saturday, what I'm going to start doing is our previous Education Saturdays. Okay. Each day, I'm going to have those be pinned to the top.
Love
just
that.
to review on each day. So our people can see each day what it is. And they'll have the opportunity to see how we evolved and what it is that we've done, but also to revisit some of the amazing information that was given by people who we've had on.
You bring up a good point because we was janky at the beginning. We ain't got it all together now, but we was for real janky. We just jumped in, right? Like, and I think that's a good point for a lot of folks. And Bernice touched on this too. Child, if you got an old iPhone 4, if you don't go live from it, use what you have. And it will evolve and your gift will make room for you. And before you know it, child, you just be on here, child. Now we fancy. We on stream, y'all. We can put the comments on the screen and we got banners and stuff, like we got backgrounds going on. It's only gonna get better. This is the Can't Act Right crew. I'm telling y'all. So, and gearing up for 2021, we want to hear from you. So we need to know from you, right? What is it that you want? We have ideas of what we want to bring to the community of Buy Black for Life, but we also value your opinion and your feedback. And so I'll be tagging the post that Uncle Jerome put up, asking like, what is it that you want now? We done asked y'all, now answer the question, please, so we can know what y'all want.
She said
that's real. That's real.
All right.
I wanted to say DMX's lyrics so bad, but I can't. What I really want from a listen.
What you really want? Okay. So bad. We really want to know what you all need, what will support you all in your businesses. All right. Every business in this group should be a 6-figure business. I'm clear. And we need to know what it is that will support you in getting there. All right. And we will be back on January 9th, 2021, child. We got some things working, child. Hold on. Can I tell her just a little bit of the tea? Just a little. It's just this much, child. We got a theme song covered. Y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing, okay? Y'all think I'll be chair twerking now? Honey, when this theme song gets going, all right. I'm just warning y'all.
We are forward thinking. We don't think today. We are thinking.
That's right.
A year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. And when you think that way, you get to plan. Because don't nobody know that's your 3-year plan. So if it doesn't go well, who knew?
Yeah.
That's right.
So you get to work on tomorrow, today. And I've heard Jamie say this so many times. She is going to be ready so she don't have to get ready.
I'll be ready. So I stay ready. So I got to get ready.
And I remember after our first Education Saturday, I'm like, yo, I need you to do this because we need to be ready for the blessing. And the blessing will be when we take over this planet.
Come on. All right. Okay. See, I ain't going to say
want a revolution. Whoop, whoop.
All right. Because I feel Jesus. All right. So
he's been with us the whole way.
Listen, I love.
Yes. I hope you're selling that and it's in this group because let's get it. Let's get it.
I got you. Leela'sLounge.com. I'm telling you. Well, y'all brought God into it. I said, come on now, let's show the bed.
Yes.
Because stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. It was right next to me. Come on now. I ain't had to go nowhere.
That's so good. That's so
saying.
Good. Yeah.
No, she didn't take a sip.
And on that, we sit for Jesus. Okay. All right. Yo, oh my God, we really can't act right today. It's hilarious. Bob Black for Life family, we love y'all. We'll be in and out of the group. We're just not having Education Saturdays for the rest of the year until January 9th. So, child, y'all look out for us. We'll be popping in and out. And, child, answer the question. Let us know what y'all need. All right? Stop playing, being quiet and shy and stuff. Literally, it's 169,000 members in this group, and 131,000 of you are active members. That's meaning at some point throughout the week, you're coming in and interacting in some way. Child, we need to hear from y'all. All right. We really do want to hear from y'all. We not going to bite. Look, as I always say, Unc say he bite. I don't bite. I might bite in 2021. So y'all catch me before 2020. We love y'all immensely, and we will see you next year. Happy holidays to everyone. Please stay safe. Wear your mask. Still socially distanced, child. We know the vaccine is out. Make your own decision and your own choice. Do your research, okay? Not news articles, okay? Research, okay, and make the best decision for you and your families. We wish you nothing but love, joy, and peace through this season. And as we're getting ready for our 2021, please keep us in your prayers and in your thoughts as we look to really take this to the next level, because this is 6-figure business too. Amen. All right. Amen. We love y'all. And we will see y'all next time for the love of our people. Bye. Yeah.